Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the RnRGzrs show. I'm your host, Murph. Really glad to be here. And as always, my co host, the man with the incredible knowledge of music and whatnot, and that would be Doc Box. Hey, Doc, how you doing after
I'm
Saturday
doing
night, man?
fabulous, man. It is
Yeah,
summertime and
yeah, we made it
summer's
through.
here. The time is right to go dancing in the streets, man. I'm
we
ready.
we made it through Saturday night. Our first concert of the year. Obviously, we went up to outside of Chicago, the big venue down there, the Hollywood Casino Theater, and saw the Loverboy REO and Styx concert. And I gotta tell you, just to start off with, I don't know what's going on if they have a lack of employees, but it took us. Oh, how long did it take us? Probably 40
Yeah,
minutes
it's
to
pretty
get in
rough.
there.
Yeah, it was
It was
rough.
horrible. Jeez, it was really rough. And then once we got into the venue, waiting in line, we basically heard half a Loverboy set while we were waiting in line. It took that long, and they sounded great. The crowd reacted great. We did catch their last song, "Working for the Weekend," which
Mike
obviously,
Reno's headband looked great.
yeah, and
Yeah,
of course, "Working for the Weekend" that's been certified to be a must-play song for any classic rock band. So, just so you know that, get your cowbell ready. But it was a great show. I thought, wow.
yeah, yeah. They
Uh,
sounded great. Both band or well, Loverboy, what we saw them, but
yeah,
speaking mostly of REO and Sticks, yeah, they sounded great, man. I was really impressed.
it's amazing. They're both of them. The thing about bands of that era, there's very few that can still play the songs pretty much exactly like you remember them,
Yeah,
vocal
yeah.
wise, hitting all the vocals and whatnot. That's the beauty of Ario and Styx is their vocals were spot on. The playing was spot on. It was
Yeah, the guy they
really
got to replace Dennis DeYoung. I don't know where they found this guy, but
wow.
dead on, dead on. Quite the showman.
Yeah, yeah.
Vocally was dead on. Keyboards, yeah, great show. Tommy Shaw is ageless. I've come to
He
that
sure is. Yeah,
conclusion.
yeah. Yeah, what an amazing show. And REO, of course, it's amazing. I did not realize they've got only one original member left, Neil Doty, the
Right.
keyboardist.
Well,
But
Kevin
nonetheless,
Cronin's from the heyday,
yeah.
but right from the very, very beginning, yeah.
But they put on a great show. It was just a really good way to start a concert season. So really happy about that. That was a great time. And
Yeah.
like I say, the parking was a hassle, and getting out, of course, was the same deal. But we're just gonna get there a little earlier
Yeah,
next
hopefully that's
time.
just some early in the season kind of things they're working out too. Hopefully that'll get a little smoother as the time goes on.
I would hope
I
so.
hope
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
One thing we're thinking about with Styx, people don't realize they had a run of like 4 albums that went multi-platinum, and three in particular. I want to say 5 million or more. Don't hold me to that, but something along those lines. I mean, it's rare, and it got us to thinking of the 3 album run, and
Hmm.
it's rare to have three great albums period, but to have three right in a row, great albums. A lot of groups have 3 albums that their fans really like and whatnot, but for to be a classic album, three right in a row, we thought that'd be something we'd like to explore this week. So
Sure, sure.
we're
I did
gonna
want
we're
to
gonna
give everybody a look at Ingve Malmsteen's stage setup, which is really
unnecessary.
unnecessarily brutal. I'm sure it's all fake, but by golly, that's a lot of amplifiers. And now maybe he should hook them all into one another and just blow them all up and just so that the roadies can get a break. But he doesn't have a 3 album run. But hey, there's some people here who do. That's for sure.
All right, and as usual, we do our top 13. Why?
Hmm.
Because it's our show. All right. So starting off, number
Sure.
13, my
Right.
man, Mr. Bruce Springsteen.
Oh
Started
yeah,
off 1975 with Born to Run. Followed that up in
absolutely.
1978 with Darkness on the Edge of
Yep.
Town. And
Yep.
then in 1980, At the River.
Hmm.
1975, Bruce was on the cover of Time and Newsweek on the same week. That had never happened before with a musician or anybody. political figure, anybody. He was dubbed the future of rock and roll, and in a lot of ways he was. Born to Run came out, changed a lot of things. Great album. Had some legal issues in between that one and Darkness on the Edge of Town with his former manager, Mike Appel. That kind of delayed the release of Darkness. But yeah, eventually that came out, and both are on VH1's list of 100 greatest albums of all time. And then of course 1980, The River. That was Bruce's first double album, first #1 album. And kind of brought him more to the mainstream, not as much as Born in the USA would, 4 years later, but definitely a great 3-album run for sure.
Absolutely. Way to go, Bruce. And another number 12.
Our number 12.
Yeah.
Starting off in 1974.
Ooh, yeah.
Aerosmith, Get Your Wings.
Aerosmith, yes.
Followed up Toys in the Attic, 1975.
Absolutely.
And then a year later, 1976, Rocks.
Oh boy, that was a great era for them. Truth be told, they were all whacked out on various drugs and whatnot, but it sure didn't hurt their songwriting. Songs like Same Old Story, Train Kept a Rolling. There's a classic.
Right.
Walk This Way, Back in the Saddle, Sweet Emotion, another classic. Sick as a Dog. So many good songs in those 3 albums, and nothing sappy about it. Boy, they just
that's where they kind of cemented their place as in the conversation of greatest American rock band for sure. At that
absolutely,
time.
Absolutely. Jeez, those were really great songs.
Toys in the Attic. That was the first album I ever bought. A little 11-year-old Doc going to the store and getting out for Walk This Way, and then of course we hear Big 10-inch. 11-year-old boys got to jump on that. But
all the sexual innuendos that they dug with, they did through the years.
Yeah, all 3 of those albums were produced by Jack Douglas, and those were the only 3. So they kind of had a thing going there for sure. That I don't know if they took it for granted or what happened, why they didn't follow up with him, but they definitely caught lightning in a bottle for those 3 albums.
Absolutely, positively. All right, hey.
Number 11.
Oh, that would
going to Genesis.
Genesis, there they are, early Genesis. Yeah, with Peter Gabriel's wacky haircut there.
Starting off 1971, Nursery Crimes.
Classic lineup right there. Yeah.
72, Foxtrots.
Yeah.
And then 73, Selling England by the Pound. That's kind of where I got hip to them.
And then the 2 beforehand, Nursery Crime and Foxtrot, were really basically they're coming out as to showing people that they were extraordinary musicians writing extraordinary music. The Musical Box, Return of the Giant Hogweed, which is really great. Steve Hackett does a lot of finger tapping on that, and that's like 72, and he's already finger tapping away before Eddie Van Halen got to it, but he was doing it quite a bit on a lot of their songs. Watcher of the Skies, that was their big come out hit. The beginning Mellotron, just boom, everybody knows right away what's going on. Cinema Show, Firth of Fifth, and their classic Supper's Ready, which actually I believe took up the whole side B of the album. It's that long, but it's basically their classic. So wow.
You're well more versed on Genesis than I am, especially early Genesis. Nursery Crimes, that's the first with Phil Collins and Steve Hackett.
Oh,
I believe
that would have been, I think, Trespass. Yeah. I'm not too well versed on anything before these 3 actually and beyond, because this is where they really hit their stride.
I know with Selling England by the Pound, that was their first one to chart here in the U.S. So like me, I'm sure that was when a lot of people got hip to them.
Oh yeah, well, and songs like Cinema Show off of that, and Firth of Fifth, and I Know What I Like, and just a really incredible 3 in a row. I'll tell you what, and of course we said before that they put out a live album that year too, making it their 6th album. So they were really on a roll for their young 20s.
Right.
Incredible.
All right. Number 10.
Oh boy.
Remember these guys?
Oh, AC/DC.
AC/DC. They had an album run starting with Powerage.
Oh yeah.
That come out 78.
78. Yes,
Highway
sir.
to Hell, 79.
79. Wow.
Of course, the big one, the mega blockbuster, biggest selling album in the universe, Back in Black in 1980.
Oh, wow.
Powers came out. I was a huge Bon Scott fan. Was really tore up with his death. I remember we were all very excited when we knew the upcoming album was Back in Black. That was kind of a tribute to Bon, and
Yes.
we couldn't wait to hear it. But yeah, Powers, going back to Powers is my favorite AC/DC album. Actually,
Sin City, Riff
a lot of great
Raff.
songs on there. Oh yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, all those were all those three albums.
What's Next to the Moon, Gone Shooting, all those. And then of course you get into Highway to Hell, and there's just FM radio hit one right after another on that album.
Girls Got Rhythm,
yeah.
Title song. Oh, jeez. Back in Black, totally classic.
You kind of wonder if Bon had stuck around, what where they would have gone, but it was amazing. Not to be. But they definitely found Brian Johnson. I don't know where they found this guy, but and I've seen him in an interview, and he talked about how the songs just flowed out of him, and just I don't know, the planets just aligned just right, and then put out the biggest heavy metal hard rock album of all time. I mean,
that happens. On a side note, saying how the planets aligned. On a side note, not related to this, real quick. People may not know this, but the song "Inagata Davida" was actually a practice session. They were recording it. They were practicing it in the studio. The engineer there accidentally had the mics on, and before the big producer guy could even get there, they played the song. They recorded their practice session, and that's what we hear, the classic song.
Whatever, 22 minute, whatever.
Incredible. Yeah, that's amazing. So there you go. You never know. Oh, coming up, here we go. Here. Now
Number 9.
Boom shakalaka.
The trio from up north, Rush.
Yeah,
starting with Hemispheres, 78.
Yeah, man.
And then 1980, Permanent Waves came out early 1980, one of the first albums of the decade. And then, of course, the big one. And my front cover has been destroyed, but of course, Moving Pictures.
Sure.
The big mega
pictures.
Yeah.
Geez, what do you say about these three? You can buy all three if you haven't listened to them, because they flow together perfectly. Songs like Sickness, X1, Book 2, The Trees, Jacob's Ladder, Free Will. Everybody knows that. Spirit of the Radio, Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, Limelight. You know all these songs.
Yeah, Hemispheres was kind of their last, I guess, before they kind of broke with Permanent Waves. Had the radio friendly hits on there. The Trees, not one of my favorites, man, I gotta say. But the rest of the album kicks ass.
I hear you. It's sort of a kooky song, yeah.
One thing on Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, they did that in one take. They recorded that in one take, and
sometimes the stars align. Yeah, like you said, man. Yeah. Like the example I just gave. Yeah, sometimes you just never know when you're gonna really hit the good one. Wow, that's very cool. How about that?
All right. Our number 8 3-album run goes back starting in 1967. Oh, wow. We jump one? Oh, I did jump one. My bad. Mr. David Bowie starting
Mr. Bowie
71 with Hunky Dory.
Sure. Wow.
And then the big one, Ziggy Stardust. And then Aladdin.
The rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust. Yeah.
Bowie's probably had a couple 3-album runs, but I think this is his biggest. Ziggy Stardust is just one of my favorite albums, man. I didn't really get introduced to it till late, but man, I've listened to that album so many times. It's just one of those albums. You get done listening to it, you feel like you've listened to a great album. You just I don't know, it just feels like you've been enriched and your soul is cleansed, and I don't know, but it's a fabulous album. And then, of course, Hunky Dory with Changes, Life on Mars. That's a gorgeous song.
Oh yeah. Oh, You Pretty Things. just incredible songs on these
But
three.
again, going back like with Aerosmith, the same producer, he had the same band. This is those 3 albums had the same band with Mick Ronson.
Oh,
And
the late Mick Ronson.
and they were the only 3 albums that they did together. So
Wow.
kind of tells you something again. Kind of had lightning in a bottle, had the right crew, the right chemistry, and put out some rocking albums, man.
Oh yeah, Moon Age Daydream, Suffragette City.
Oh yeah,
Suffragette City, Panic in Detroit, Genie. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Great music in them albums. You know, that's just the tip of the iceberg there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And like I said, it's just the whole album. It's the whole album experience. You just feel like it's art, man. It's just art.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on to our next one.
Absolutely. Oh.
Now we're going back to 1967. Mr. Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Legendary.
Jimi Hendrix Experience had the 2 albums. Are You Experienced? Axis Bold as Love in 67, and then 68, Electric Ladyland, the double album.
Right.
Went to number 1. What are you gonna say about Jimi Hendrix, as we said already?
That's a classic picture right there. Everybody knows, obviously, that is from Woodstock '69. Yeah, classic. But yeah, exactly. What can you say? These 3 albums, Purple Haze, Voodoo Child, Crossroad Traffic, Hey Joe, All Along the Watchtower, Wind Cries Mary, Little Wing of 6 or 9, Rainy Day Dream
go
Away.
On and on. Oh, yeah.
Rainy Day Dream Away is my favorite off of brain fart. I'm having a brain fart. The 3rd album. Jeez.
Third album.
Electric Ladyland. Yeah, Rainy Day Dream Away. Great.
On Rolling Stone's list of greatest albums of all time, the debut is ranked number 30. Axis Bold of Love is 92, and Electric Ladyland is 53. So that's 3 in the top 100, and that's the only 3 he put out while he was alive. That's an artist, man. That's a mover and a shaker, man. That's
absolutely, yeah, for sure. Yeah, speaking of movers and shakers,
exactly. Remember these guys?
Wow.
The Who, starting with Tommy.
Tommy,
we're in their and Who's Next? My favorite Who album.
Absolutely, and monstrously good.
Quadrophenia,
yeah.
That's where they were really dabbling in the rock opera concept. Actually, the stuff on Who's Next was going to be a rock opera. Called Lifehouse, and then I think only 2 of the songs were not associated with that. But Thompson was heavily into that at the time.
Yep. Oh, amazing. Pinball Wizard, We're Not Gonna Take It, and of course Baba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again. 2 legendary songs off of Who's Next. And then Love Reign Over Me, I'm One, The Real Me off of Quadrophenia. They had a good run going there.
Absolutely.
3
Quadrophenia, production wise, pretty much everything. It's all Townsend, man. That double album is all Townsend. It's everything that was written. It's all him. So I mean,
yeah, it's just amazing.
You get guys like him, and we'll talk about Jimmy Page here in a little bit, where they just take over the show. I mean, not to say like they're control freaks taking over the show, but they have a vision. They're visionaries, man.
Yeah.
And they know what they want. So.
Yeah. Hey, Ox, come and play some French horn here, please.
Yeah. He plays some horns on there.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, very cool.
All right.
Our
number 5 3-album run starts with the debut in 1969.
Legendary. Black Sabbath. Wow.
Followed with Paranoid the following year, and then Master of Reality a couple years later.
Oh man. They owned the heavy metal crown back in those days. They owned the heavy metal.
Well, they were it. They were it. Yeah, they were it.
Originally,
Paranoid album was going to be called War Pigs, and that was the album that the cover that they had planned, and then they didn't change it. Once they changed it to Paranoid, they just went with the same album cover. So I always thought it was kind of a goofy album cover, but
it's just classic.
Do not judge a album by its cover.
Oh yeah, you can start from 1 and just listen all the way through to Master Reality, and it's seamless. It's just smooth as silk. These guys really, they had it really going on back then.
Yeah.
The song itself, Black Sabbath. That, geez, the Wizard. That's a classic. NIB, War Pigs, Iron Man, Paranoid,
Oh
Sweet
yeah, they get
Leaf, Into the Void.
yeah, I was gonna say, yes, it starts with Sweet Leaf, ends with Into the Void,
Oh,
and just awesome
geez.
in between. You kind of wonder, you look back at a lot of these bands back then, and they were putting out an album a year, sometimes two a year. I think Creedence put out 3 in a year at one point. But you don't see artists doing that now, and you wonder, if the record companies would just let them be on that creative role and just put it out, man. Whatever just whatever you're doing, put it out.
Right,
And
right.
I don't know. I think there's too much A&R, too much. Is it radio friendly? Is it 120 beats per minute? Is it whatever?
Sure.
But,
oh well.
But
it
yeah,
is what
it's
it
just,
is.
yeah. Well, we can go on about that forever, but we won't.
Absolutely. There you go.
All right.
Oh,
Number 4, talking about 2 in 1 year.
Hammer of the Gods.
The Mighty Zeppelin.
Hammer of the Gods, right there.
Obviously, this is even a 4-album run, but we'll start with the first 3, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, what can you say? Just groundbreaking, and continue to be so, even more so. The first album came out and blew everybody away. The second one came out and was even better. Third one came out. I think that was the first one that was number 1 in the UK and the US.
But, man, oh man, so many good songs. And on the third one, Page started picking up his acoustic, and wow,
right,
just a whole new.
They recorded that kind of out in the country. It was a big the second album is a big contrast to that. The second album they recorded on the road, basically wherever they could find a studio, and they would pop in and do a song or do part of it or whatever. And oh god,
a whole lot of love out on the road. Dig that.
There was I want to say it was 25 something like that, different studios they used for that album. So
wow,
the big contrast. And then the third album, Robert Plant found a house out in the country, outhouse. I mean, no electricity, no plumbing. I mean, it was really, like log cabin type stuff. And yeah, they just kind of got him into the acoustic kind of state of mind, and a little folky even, and they came out with 3. So.
Amazing. Yeah, Good Times, Bad Times, Days of Confused. How Many More Times? Whole Lot of Love, of course. Thank You, Heartbreaker, Tangerine, Gallows Pole, Immigrant Song. All classic. Just
like you said, that could even have been a 4 run. Then you get into Led Zeppelin 4. But as a default in these lists, we went to the first 3 of the run. So
right. Yeah.
There. Well, speaking of, our next artist also has a 4 album run.
Oh, jeez.
Starting in 1973.
The mighty
Dark Side of the Moon.
Floyd.
Wish You Were Here. And then the very underrated Animals, or maybe not so much. I love it. I think it's a great album.
Absolutely.
Not on a lot of people's top list of Pink Floyd albums, but I love it. First one that I really knew the whole album. But again, a buddy's older brother had it, and that's what we kind of listened to. And then as you grow older, as an adult, you start seeing the social implications of the song, of the the dogs and the pigs and the sheep, and it's
Pigs on a Wing. Yeah,
it's a great album.
Dogs, sheep, pigs on a wing. It's I wonder why they call it Animals, but yeah, they were on a 3-run tear here. Just amazing.
So yeah,
and of course I saw the story today, I believe it was about brain fart. How the original guitarist came in while they were recording. Sid Barrett came in while they were recording "Shine On You Crazy Diamond."
Yes,
they didn't recognize him. It was unbelievable. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, he gained a lot of weight, and his head was bald, pretty much shaved. Yeah,
eyebrows shaved. Yeah,
they didn't know who he was. But yeah, Dark Side of the Moon. It does sync up with Wizard of Oz. I have done that many years ago. I did that, and that was a fun afternoon.
I got to try that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that for sure links up.
Oh, cool.
I know a lot of people know Alan Parsons from the Alan Parsons Project. He engineered Dark Side of the Moon, and they kind of had a falling out after that. I think the guys in Floyd kind of felt like he was using that, the on the top of his resume, kind of, hey, I engineered Dark Side of the Moon, would say, well, I would, why not? But he didn't get paid very well for it, and
Wow.
he ended up kind of having falling out. So be that as it may.
Okay,
and then,
moving
of course,
on.
Wish You Were Here, my favorite album from them. Our second one, another 4-album run. We'll start with the first 3, Rolling Stones.
The Stones.
Starting with Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, and of course, Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers, yeah. Holy cow. Yep, that so many albums. It's hard for them to have 3 in a row, but they did it. It was on their earlier
Well, then
days,
the fourth was Exile on Main Street. Was the 4th after this. So yeah, they had a 4-album run actually.
So many, Let It Bleed, Sympathy for the Devil, Midnight Ramblers, Street Fighting Man, Brown Sugar, Wild Horses, Gimme Shelter, Pitch. Between them 3 albums, it's just an amazing amount of great songs. It's just wow.
And as we were talking about earlier, some of them where they had that common thread of the same backing band or the same producer. That was not the case with the Stones here. They started off, they had Brian Jones on the first one. And then the second one, Let It Bleed, was pretty much all Keith. Brian was kind of, sort of still around, but not. He was headed out the door. And then on the third album, Sticky Fingers, is Mick Taylor. So
wow,
I think it's still pretty much all Keith and Mick, and but yeah, they were definitely on a roll at that time. Following it up with Exile on Main Street. I mean, wow.
Sure,
wow,
sure.
Wow.
Well done, Stones.
All right.
Of course, there's the big
Our
one.
number 1 3-album run. You probably know the Beatles.
Get a haircut, guys. Come on.
Starting with Rubber Soul.
Oh yeah.
Revolver. And Sgt. Pepper's.
Wow.
Yeah, obviously the biggest 3-album run. I don't know if that will ever be topped. It started. It lended some validity to the album as an art form. I mean, before that, albums were just basically a collection of singles or throwaways or whatever to fill out the album. But these guys know we're making an album as a piece of art, and this was when rock and roll, prior to this, rock and roll wasn't really accepted among the music community. It was still teeny boppers and that kind of thing they looked at. But with these 3 albums, rock started being taken seriously, and the album is an art form taken seriously.
Oh yeah, so many songs in these 3: Drive My Car, Nowhere Man, Michelle, In My Life, Got to Get You Into My Life, Good Day Sunshine, Yellow Submarine. There's a classic. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, Sgt. Pepper's, With a Little Help, When I'm 64. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, A Day in the Life, She's Leaving Home. There's so much
soundtrack to our lives. I mean,
that's what it is.
To our lives. It really is.
That's what it is. Unbelievable, man.
And speaking to the point I brought up earlier, Sgt. Pepper was the first rock album to win Grammy for Album of the Year. So, like I said, just kind of lended some validity to the art form, man. And who else but the Beatles? I mean,
Well, what did they do before that?
Right.
Wow. Dig that. Well, there you go, man. Freaking A. Our next concert coming up is going to be Garbage and Tears for Fears.
Right.
On the 16th. I'm a hard rocker. My latest new craze is Meshuggah. That's how hard I rock. But I'm looking forward to this one for some reason. I can't wait to see this. Number 1, the concert Saturday night was jam-packed. People really love their classic rock. So I expect a pretty good turnout the 16th, and hope the weather's good. And I can't wait, man. It's going to be great. But in any case,
let's keep the summer rolling along, man.
Yeah, well, summer's here, man. So that's our show for the today. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and be sure to subscribe so we can get this show really rolling. So sure to appreciate it. What do you got to say, Doc?
Yeah, I'm sure you got some 3-album runs that you'd like to bring up, or if you agree with our assessment. Maybe if you ask us on a different day, they'd be in a different order. I don't know. You kind of could move some of them around, I guess. But nonetheless, yeah, please subscribe. We're just kind of getting going. This is show 10. Yep. So we're gonna, we're gonna be sticking with this. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll have some shows from time to time that you'd like to see. So subscribe so you don't miss them. And hey, have a great rock and roll filled week. I know I will.
Take care.